We'll start with the prayers. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashye Makshabhiryajatraha Stirairangaihi Stuštuvagam Sashtanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vritashavaha Swasti na Pusha Vishvaveda Swasti nastakshorarishthanemihi Swasti no brihatirtadato Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying Mandukya Upanishad, the Shankara Bhashyam, second chapter, Karika number 7. We started with this Mandukya Upanishad on the 14th of January 2024. We have finished 41 sessions so far. Today is the 42nd session. In these 41 sessions, we have covered the first chapter called Agama Prakaranam. We are in the second chapter now, which is called Vaitatya Prakaranam. If you're joining new to the class today, a number of people had approached and we said, okay, you can join the class. So if you have joined the class now, you should get the recording of the previous sessions, 41 sessions before. And keep attending these talks. And then in your free time, you try to go back to the old talks. Start from the first talk and try to come up to speed slowly. But don't miss out on attending these sessions. These type of sessions, when you attend, it gives you a lot of information. And if you're a serious seeker, you want to learn about yourself and about the world, you are in the right place and you are with the right Upanishad. Mandukya Upanishad is an amazing Upanishad, and we are fortunate to study the commentary of Shankaracharya on his great grand guru Gaudapada Acharya. That's why this study of this Upanishad becomes very unique. When we look at the world outside, we must remember this is Ishvara Srishti. Someone has created this universe or projected this universe. I am one of the constituents of this universe. I never created the universe. I am one of the constituents of the universe. And I'm trying to discover what is this universe. So this is the seeker's search. And all seekers in the past who have done this type of search have always gone to the source, which is Upanishads, for this type of searching and realizing. Jiva Srishti, many of you have attended my sessions on Panchadasi. So there we discussed in very big detail Ishvara Srishti and Jiva Srishti. Jiva Srishti means what I am doing on a daily basis. I'm creating certain things, I'm acting on certain things, I'm working, I'm eating, I'm singing, I'm walking. These are all Jiva Srishti. But without Ishvara Srishti, there is no Jiva Srishti. You must be very, very clear. There is a superpower which is projecting this universe for us every day. For all the past generations and in the future generations, there is a super Ishvara. Always remember this fact. Because when we study this Upanishad, we know that in the third pada, we have got three padas. First pada is the waking state, second pada is the dream state, and the third pada is the sleep state. These three padas are with reference to the individual, waker, dreamer, sleeper. All of us have these padas. I am a waker, I am a dreamer, I am a sleeper. In each of these states of consciousness, there is a vyashti, which means an individual, and there is a samashti, which is Ishvara. In the waking state, we said it is Virat Ishvara. Virat. That is the name given. And I am given the name Vishwa. In this dream state, I am given the name Taijasa, and the controller of the dream is called Hiranyagarbha. Again, it is a Devata. In the sleep state, it is called, the individual is called as Prajna, and the controller of the sleep state is called as Antaryami, Ishvara. The third pada, which is the sleep state, is supposed to be the cause, Karanam, for the waking and dream. So waking state, dream state is Karyam, it is a product. The Karanam is the sleep state. Then the Upanishad says the waking dream state, waking in the dream state, there are totally 12 mantras in these Upanishads. 12 mantras, the first two are just introductions. The third, fourth talk about the waking state and dream state. The fifth mantra, the sixth mantra talk about the sleep state. The seventh mantra talks about Turiya, the fourth state of an individual jiva. This Turiya is not a Karanam, it is not a Karyam, it is pure Sakshi. This Sakshi is what I have to realize to get moksha. The entire commentary in this first chapter is a commentary on the mantras of the Upanishad. The second chapter is a commentary on one word, Prapancha Upashama, which is Vaitatya Prakarana. This chapter is the most important chapter because it is very difficult for me to accept that the waking state is Mithya. It is a false projection. Very difficult for anybody who is a seeker. But once your intellect is able to understand this second chapter, the third chapter and the fourth chapter is very easy. All Upanishads become very easy if you understand Mandukya. So Mandukya is the key to open the door of moksha for all of us. In the second chapter, we have finished 6 verses. Today we are in the 7th verse. What did we discuss in the 6 verses? This is just a quick revision for people who are joining in today. The first 3 verses of second chapter basically deals with dream state. And it says dream state is perceived, it is drishyam, and it is mithya. Mithya means what? It is available for an experience. Factually, it is not there. So the first three mantras of the second chapter is very clear. All of us will accept it very easily. Then comes the second topic, which is Jagrat Avastha is Mithya. Now this goes on from the 4th verse to the 18th verse of this second chapter. This is the second topic which we are right now discussing. The fourth verse basically deals with Tarka Shastra. Logically, Shankaracharya gives the logical language to prove that waking is mithya. This is a big verse which we all completed, and it is a difficult verse because it uses some technical terms connected with logic, Tarka Shastra. Again, there we said waking state is unreal, waking state is mithya, and the example drishtanta used for the logical conclusion is swapnavat. Exactly like swapna, waking state is also drishyam. The main argument of Gaudapada is that it is perceived. Anything which is perceived by the sense organs is mithya. Dream is perceived by dream body sense organs. Jagrat is perceived by Jagrat sense organs. So wherever we use sense organs, it is mithya. And when we don't use our sense organs or the mind, it is a blank state of sleep. Beyond this blank state lies the Turiya. We have to transcend the three states to arrive at Turiyam Avastha, which is my real state. By knowing that, I have moksha, the highest goal of a Purusha. That was said in 4th Karika, the 4th verse of this chapter 2. The 5th verse compares the objects in dream and in waking. The dream objects are projected by the mind as per our vasana. The waking objects and beings are projected by Ishvara, and they are bhautika, panchabhutas. Gross 5 elements are the objects which are projected by Ishvara in the waking state. Both are projections and both are drishyam, therefore both are mithya. That is the 5th mantra. Last week we did 6th mantra. Here, analysis was used by which we said the world is karyam and it is anitya. The word this is an important word, anityatva. World is karanam is that karana shariram or karana prapancha, but the world is anityam. Anityam means it is temporary. It is available in the waking state, but this waking state is not there in the dream state. The dream state is not available in the waking state. Therefore, we say it is temporary, it is anithyam. There is no beginning and there is no end of this world. But in between, we see this. Therefore, what is the conclusion? Whatever doesn't have a beginning, whatever doesn't have an end, even while it is being seen or perceived, it is Mithya. In order to know that waking state is Mithya, it is an appearance, it doesn't have a independent existence, we must be able to stand on Turiya. Turiyam is the fourth state. So you stand on Turiyam and say, I am Turiya Atma without any prapancha. You can easily do it. You can just sit in meditation. Remember this fact. What we are learning is a fact which is there in the universe. So what you're doing in meditation is you're only recollecting. I have heard this entire world is Mithya. It is available for experience of the sense organs, but factually it is not there. But what is there factually? Factually, what is there is I, the Turiya Atma, which is called as Adhishtanam for all the relative experiences. You must understand every word which I have said now. I am Turiyam. Turiyam is the Adhishtanam, the substratum, on which the three relative states are appearing, disappearing, manifesting, unmanifesting. Who does this job of manifestation and unmanifestation? It's a very big question. And if you want to have a detailed answer to this question, you must refer to Aitareya Upanishad, Shankara Bhashya. The first chapter, first section, second verse of Aitareya Upanishad, which talks about how do we experience this world? What is the Karanam? In any projection or production, there is Nimitta Karanam, Upadana Karanam. I'm going to spend 2-3 minutes just to give you a gist so that you get a taste of this analysis and then you can study. Whenever we do Aitareya Upanishad, I'm planning to take Aitareya after Prashna Upanishad for the Saturday classes. So I'm writing a commentary on that at the moment. So just to give you a short answer for this question which I posed, for any projection there is or production, you have an intelligent cause, nimitta karanam, and upadana karanam, which is material cause. To produce a pot, you need clay, material cause, and you need a potter, intelligent cause. To produce a chain, you require an intelligent cause, goldsmith, and you need the material, which is gold. So you have material cause, intelligent cause. Now let us come to this entire creation. What is the intelligent cause? Everybody will say, yes, there is an Ishvara, and he is the intelligent cause. Nobody has any doubts. When it comes to material cause for this universe, there are two prakriyas. Try to get this point, but details you will get in Aitareya Upanishad. I'll just give you the gist of this methodology to understand what is the material cause for the universe. According to Aitareya Upanishad, Shankara Bhashyam, he says there are two prakriyas. One prakriya says Maya Shakti with the help or support of Brahman creates this universe. Very easy. This is for junior students who are trying to understand the creation. So what is this thing? What is the methodology? Prakriya number one. There is Turiya, which is Brahman. It has got inbuilt Maya Shakti. That Maya Shakti has got the design of all the Sanchita karmas of the entire set of human beings in this Srishti. So Maya, that means we give a focus on Maya Shakti in the first current methodology to prove that Maya is the Upadana Karan for this Srishti. Second, this is one methodology. Second methodology is, and what is Maya Shakti in this case? Maya Shakti is, it is Mithya. Maya is Mithya, therefore cause is Mithya. The effect, the creation is also Mithya, which is what Gaudapada Acharya is saying in this chapter. He says, the entire waking state, dream state, sleep state is only a Maya Shakti which is operating. The second prakriya which Shankaracharya gives in the Aitareya Upanishad is Turiyam itself transforms into this world. Seemingly. The word seemingly is very important. Turiyam itself transforms it into the waking state prapancha, the dream state prapancha, and the sleep state prapancha. So if this one uses the anupravesha method, anupravesha, it itself enters, like the baker himself enters the dream, projects the dream, and then resolves the dream into himself. Similarly, Turiyam itself projects this waking state and resolves the waking state into itself. The resolution happens, which is called as prapancha upashamam. Therefore, what we are experiencing is a projection of that Turiyam. We are all parts, but we are trying to discover the source. What is the source of this whole creation? So in the second methodology, it is Turiyam itself transforms into this world. In the first methodology, Maya Shakti transforms into the world. This is very, very deep science of creation. No scientist can come very near to this. This is only the source is Upanishads. Very deep. You try to understand whatever I have said in the last 15-20 minutes, then you will understand that the entire creation is nothing but a projection. So what do we say in this stage? In this stage, what we say is Turiyam is Vivarta Upadana. Vivartam means what? It is changeless. And what about Maya? That's the first prakaranam. It is changing cause. It is changing cause is called in Sanskrit Parinami Padanakam. Okay, so this was just to give you a little bit of insight into what has happened so far in the 6 verses. Now we will enter the seventh verse of the Upanishad, where we stopped last week. The introduction of the seventh verse, Shankaracharya writes this introduction. He says in this Karika number 7, like the dream world, the waking world is equally Mithya. First, go through this, then you will understand the entire gist of this whole mantra. Purva Pakshi comes into this mantra. Mantra number 7 is primarily a Purva Pakshi. That means an opponent to this Gaudapada Acharya's premises. He says, what does the Purva Pakshi says? The objects seen in the waking world, like for example, food, aeroplanes, cars, so many things are there in the waking state. Now, what he says, the Purva Pakshi, this Purva Pakshi is very important. See, whenever we study Bhashya, it makes it very interesting because there is a Purva Pakshi. On our own, we will never think about all this. But by understanding an opponent, then we also will be able to use our intellect and understand why right is right and wrong is wrong. So Purva Pakshi is wrong, but we must understand why he is wrong. He says in this mantra, it's a very beautiful mantra. It's a very important Karika. So I will take a little bit of time. I will be slow in this because I want each one of you to understand this. Because many doubts of the seekers is this only. The seventh Karika is the most important reason which everybody will give. What is the reason? The reason is utility. Waking state has got utility. The dream state has got no utility. For example, I am hungry in the waking state. I just go and eat something and my hunger goes away. Suppose I'm thirsty. My thirst goes away in the waking state. It is useful, isn't it? Water is useful, food is useful. I want to travel. Gamanam. This is what Shankaracharya is his comment. This is his commentary to this Karika. Karika is written by Gaudapada Acharya, his great grand guru. The introduction to this verse is given by Shankaracharya. These are the words of Shankaracharya. So Shankaracharya imagines a Purva Pakshi. He says, waking state has got utility. Dream state is no use at all. So how can you say that the waking state is Mithya? Dream state, I understand, is Mithya because it is not useful for everybody. Usefulness is not found in dream objects. Usefulness is found in objects of the waking state. Therefore, you are only imagining that the waking state is Mithya. It is a fancy of your mind. Manoratha. Manoratha matram iti. Now, what does the Advaitin come and say? Very beautiful, interesting dialogue which goes on in this. The Advaitin says, no, it is not. It is not a fancy of my mind. And what is the reason? That reason is given in this mantra. So, seventh mantra is an objection raised on Advaitin's Anumanam of waking state is Mithya Swapnavat. That is the Anumana. Objection is given by Purva Pakshi. Jagrat Prapancha Mithya Adhyantavatvat, Anityatvat, Drishyatvat, Swapna Prapanchat. What is the full translation of this sentence? Dream doesn't have a beginning, it has an end. Okay, it has a beginning, it has an end. But before the dream, there was nothing. After the dream, there was nothing. Same thing in waking state also. Waking state has a beginning, it has an end, but before the beginning, there was nothing. After the dream, after the waking state is over, when you go to sleep or when you start dreaming, this waking state is not there. That is one. Therefore, this anityam, it is temporary, fleeting. Drishyatvat, both are perceived by the sense organs. I am perceiving the dream world. I am the one who's perceiving the waking world. It's only perception. So perceptions is one reason. Fleeting is the second reason. And it is not there in the beginning. It is not there in the end. That is the third reason. Now, this is challenged by all the philosophers. All. Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaiseshika, everybody challenges the Advaitin on this. What if Shankaracharya says? He says, your hetu is wrong. Your reason is wrong. It is seemingly right. But upon inquiry, that reason for which you say that it is not Mithya, that is got a fallacy. Just to give you an idea of what are the basis or what are the logical methodologies which are used by different shastras. In Vedanta, we have got Tattvabodha as a basic text on which the entire philosophy is built. Tarka has got Tarka Sangraha. Mimamsa has got Ritha Sangraha. Vyakaranam has got Lagu Siddhanta Kaumudi. Now, according to Tarka, there are five fallacies in our state. What is our job? We have to state that there is no mistake in our Anumana Vakya. Waking is Mithya, exactly like the dream state. So, Anandagiri has written a beautiful commentary, but unfortunately it is in Sanskrit. Now he writes, and then some of the notes which I have here are based on Anandagiri's commentary. And his commentary is full of Sangraha jargons, Tarka Sangraha jargons. Very difficult to understand. He does a beautiful analysis of the seventh mantra of the Upanishad. What are the logicians saying, the Tarka people? So you have to understand the whole analysis, then only you will understand the gist. So here what the Tarkika says is, Swapna Mithya accepted. Swapna Padhartha or objects are useless in Jagrat, accepted. We can accept Swapna is Mithya because it is aprayojanam. What about Jagrat? Jagrat is real. It is not Mithya. It has utility value. Food, drinks, vehicles are very, very useful. This class is useful. Hence, Jagrat is real. It has got prayojanam, saprayojanam, aprayojanam. That is the argument. I mean, vehicles are used for going and coming, and the saprayojanam is the basic argument. Aprayojanam, saprayojanam. Saprayojanam means with utility is satyam. Aprayojanam means it is without utility. It has got a upadhi dosha. Therefore, it is Mithya, acceptable. This is what is the opponent's view. So that is what is explained here in these lines here, in these boxes. Compared to Swapna, Jagrat is your imagination. Swapna Mithya is correct, but Jagrat is your imagination. Advaitin or Siddhantin focuses on Anityatvam and Drishyatvam, whereas the Purva Pakshi is focusing on Prayojanatvam, utility. Can you see the differences? Purva Pakshi is saying it has got no use. You can say it is Drishyam, you can say it is Anityam, but Jagrat is very useful to me. Swapna is not useful. Like I said, all these schools, Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaiseshika, all these schools, they complain to the Advaitin saying that your conclusion about Jagrat being Mithya, being false, it is sacrilegious. You mean you will go to hell because you are saying it is Jagrat is Mithya. Okay, so this is what even Visishta Advaitins. Visishta Advaitin is one section of the Advaitins itself. But what do they say? Bhagwan is Visishta. Prapancha is Viseshana. Both Bhagwan and the world are Satyam. You cannot say that the world is Mithya and get away from it. But Bhagwan is Satyam, world is Satyam. This is just the introduction part of the Karika. Now, the actual Karika, we'll use Vijaya to chant this.
Saprayojanata tesham Swapne vipratipadyate tasmadadyantavatvena Mityaiva khalu te smritaha
So the meaning of this verse, I have already explained to you. The waking state serves no purpose in the dream state, being contradicted. Therefore, objects are associated with beginning and end, hence they are illusion. This is the answer of Shankaracharya. What is Shankaracharya saying? Shankaracharya is saying the waking state has no purpose in the dream state. The dream state has no purpose in the waking state. Therefore, all objects are associated with beginning and end. Like I explained to you, waking has got a beginning, it has got an end. Dream has got a beginning, it has got an end. Therefore, it is illusion. He'll explain this more. We'll see the slides and then you will understand this much more better. What he says is the utility of the waking state is contradicted in the dream state. Because in the dream state, none of the waking state objects or beings are useful to us. Similarly, in the waking state, none of the beings and objects in the dream state are useful to us. Therefore, utility is not a factor which you should consider to say that the world is Satyam. That is the answer of Shankaracharya. Our Anumanam is not fallacious. Utility cannot be used as a criterion for reality. What is real according to Siddhantin, according to Vedanta? Turiya. That pure consciousness which is the Adhishtanam. Waker is the Adhishtanam for the dream. Turiyam is the Adhishtanam for the waker. That is the proposal which Shankaracharya and Gaudapada Acharya make to prove that the waking state is similar to dream state. See, when we go through the analysis logically with reason, our intellect has the ability to accept the truth given out by the Upanishads. You cannot get this by just studying the verse and meanings of the Upanishads. Suppose you study the 12 mantras and you study the meanings in English or whatever it is, in any language, you will never have the in-depth knowledge like how we are trying to get with the help of Bhashya. So, Purva Pakshi says, Jagrat is Satyam, objects are useful, Swapna is Mithya, objects are useless. Siddhantan says, you are using double standard. What do you mean by double standard? You are trying to compare Swapna objects and the Swapna world from the Jagrat angle and Jagrat from the Jagrat angle. Isn't it a double standard? Very, very important argument of Shankaracharya, which you can never get till you study Mandukya Upanishad Karikas and their Bhashyas. What Upanishad says is you drop all the three relative states, Turiya. Like, for example, you ask yourself in the waking state, okay, waking state is false. I close my eyes and say waking state is false, dream state is false. And then what is remaining then? Remaining is this Turiya, which is the Adhisthana. So compared to the Turiya, Jagrat is dream number 2, Swapna is dream number 1. In Sushupti, there is no dream. So all the dreams you drop as Mithya, and you accept Turiyam as the Adhisthana Satyam. Where is the difficulty? Isn't it so simple? Mandukya is so simple, easy to understand and easy to accept. So look at Jagrat and Swapna from their respective bodies' viewpoint. Don't try to use the Swapna body and say analyze Jagrat. Similarly, Jagrat body, don't try to analyze Swapna. That is the reasoning given by Shankaracharya. Look at Padharthas from their respective observer standpoint, waker standpoint, dreamer standpoint, sleeper standpoints. You are looking at Swapna from waker standpoint. You're looking at waker from waker standpoint. This is called as double standard. Therefore, you will never arrive at the conclusion that waking state is Mithya. As long as you're standing in that state, analyzing and drawing a conclusion, you cannot do that. You have to transcend the state and then look at it, look at the three states from the Turiyam point of view. Jagrat vehicle cannot be used in dream. In Vichara Sagara, there is a very beautiful example given. Vichara Sagara is a very high text for senior students. I've got 7,500 pages notes on Vichara Sagara in my website. Now, in that text, there is an example given how dream medicine cannot be used in the waking state and how the waking state money cannot be used in the dream state. Therefore, both the states are mithya. They are relative. So the two states, both are real, you can say, or both are unreal, you can say. When will you say both are real? When you stand in the state and you say, from the waker's standpoint, waking state is real. Again, you go to the dream, stand on dream state as dreamer, and then say that that is it, it is real. So with reference to the specific states, you can say it is real. But when you transcend the state, you can say it is unreal. Dream state from waking state point of view, unreal. Waking state from Turiya point of view, unreal. You cannot use utility as a criterion for satyatvam or mithya. Your drishti is wrong. You are using ahamkara drishti, which is a waker, dreamer, sleeper drishti. What is the right drishti? The right drishti is not ahamkara, but it is sakshi drishti. Dropping the word from sakshi turiyam as drishyam, as anityam, you can come to the conclusion mithya. Jagrat world, Swapna world, both are mithya or falsified by Shruti itself. Now we have seen Yukti. Anubhav all of us have. What is the most important Shruti Vakyam to say that objects are mithya in the waking state? I have added this mantra today. It may not be in the notes which you have got already in the morning. This I added just before the class. Katha Upanishad has got this beautiful mantra. All of you should remember this mantra. You already know this. People who have been attending these sessions, you already know this. So here, what does it say? It says that whatever is here, the same is there. Whatever is there, the same is here. That means what? Turiyam Sakshi is there, Turiyam Sakshi is here. So knowing that this Turiyam is changeless, you should be able to say that the world is Mithya. So you transcend the three states and declare Aham Turiyam Asmi. Aham Turiyam Satyam Asmi. Jagrat Prapancha, not in Swapna. Swapna Prapancha, not in Jagrat. Both are not there in Turiya. And in Sushupti, there is no Prapancha. So Turiyam is Satyam, Jagan is Mithya. Same thing as Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. Jivo Brahma Iva Naparaha. I, the Jiva, with this Karana Shariram of Punya Papam, I am not the Karana Shariram with Punya Papam. I am Turiyam. That is the ultimate change, transformation of a Jiva. Okay? Shankaracharya writes this long commentary. We'll see the slides. In the explanations, you will understand it better. So utility experience in the waking world and the dream world is not the right criteria. Usefulness is relative. Uselessness is unreal. When you look at it from the other state. So therefore, in respective states, usefulness is there. When you cross that state, usefulness cannot be a criteria. What is the criteria is, it is drishyatvam, anityatvam. That should be the criteria. Purva Pakshi is wrong. That is what is said by Shankaracharya. Nisprayojanam, saprayojanam, it should be seen as in the respective states. Vedanta's aim is not to question the relative reality. Everybody knows waking state is real. I do so many things in the waking state. So don't get confused. That how can I say that, don't try to ask in the waking state as a waker body. Don't ask. As Sakshi, you can ask. Sakshi is not the body. Sakshi is the Turiyam. So, to find out what is reality, you should stand on the absolute reality, not on the relative reality. What does cosmology study? It studies the macro level to find out what is reality. At the macro level, what happened to the stars? What happened to the planets? The Big Bang happened. But before Big Bang, there was singularity. What is the definition of singularity? It's a place where there is no information. I don't know what it is. That is singularity, which we are calling in Vedanta as Mula Avidya. What the scientists call as singularity, a state before Big Bang, what we say is it is called as Mula Avidya. It is the ignorance of Turiya. That ignorance of Turiya has got the power, it has got the Shakti to create and project this world of waking. That is our view. Scientists cannot understand this because they don't go to the basis of Shastra. For us, Shastram is primary, Pramanam. So we are able to use Shastra and say that this is what it is. So science says at the macro level before Big Bang, it is a state of singularity. At the macro level, at the micro level, subatomic particles. Then what do we say? The observer can change the nature of the seen object. But the original nature of the objects, we don't know. So science studies the universe, but not the reality of the universe. Vedanta studies the reality of the universe. What Vedanta says is, you, the observer consciousness principle, is the absolute reality in this universe. And that is what is said in Chandogya Upanishad. Tattvamasi Shvetaketu, Tattvamasi Shvetaketu. You are that, you are that, you are that means what? You are that observer consciousness, Turiyam, the fourth state, which the Upanishad declares in the seventh mantra. This observer can never be observed. Another beautiful fact of the Vedanta. You cannot observe the observer. So if you want to understand in yourself, that consciousness, you cannot observe it because it is the observer. And that observer is called as Sakshi because you have to drop everything in the world. You have to drop your body. You have to drop your thoughts. You have to drop your sense organs. You have to drop the sense objects. When you drop all this, what remains is this Sakshi. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Maitreyi Brahmana, has got a wonderful mantra. This comes in the second chapter, fourth section of Brihadaranyaka. See, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is a very, very voluminous Upanishad. Shankaracharya, he is an expert. He has got all the verses at the top of his mind and he can just insert those verses in his mind. So many hundreds of verses are there. But he will pick the best verse which suits that particular situation. So Shankaracharya uses this particular verse to explain to us. He says, this is just to give you a background, Yajnavalkya is the husband of Maitreyi. Maitreyi wants to get Atma Vidya from Yajnavalkya. So wife wants to understand from the husband Atma Vidya. And the husband agrees to teach the wife. And then this is a sentence which he tries to explain. And what does he say here? Very, very important mantra. Then there is duality. Dvaitam, Pramata, Pramanam, Prameyam. Three things are called as Tripoti. It is in Shri. In Dvaita Prapancha, whether it is waking state or Dvaita Prapancha in the dream state, there is a Pramata, there is a knower who knows through the instruments of the sense organs objects. In the waking state, you will see the objects with smell, with hear, with sound, with touch. All these things is possible. But what about this Turiyam Brahman? The whole objective world has become the subject. So then Yajnavalkya is asking, suppose the whole world when you are sleeping has become the self. Then with what can you see what? With what can you hear what? With what can you speak? With what can you think? How should you know through what? Therefore, don't try to question who can know that Sakshi, who can know that knower, because there is no instrument available. I can know the world because I'm using the instrument of eyes, ear, skin, tongue. These are all the instruments in the body, indriyams. But when the indriyams are passive in this sleep state, there is no knowing. There is only Sakshi. That Sakshi is seeing the world without any perception, which is called as unmanifest condition. It's a very beautiful verse, and seventh mantra is very important. I have given a revision portion for those who study the notes independently. If there is something which I have not discussed, I will discuss. A mango tree and a coconut tree. Both are trees, but there is difference in the fruits. So Jagrat and Swapna both are Mithya, like the tree nests. But Jagrat has got its utility, like the mango fruit. Coconut tree has got its utility, like the coconut fruit. So Swapna has got its utility, Jagrat has its utility, but both are Mithya. And what is the definition of Mithya? Mithya means something which borrows existence is called as Mithya, which means it doesn't have independent existence. So, Satya Atma is the consciousness, it is the observer principle. It lends the existence to the treeness, to the worldness. Anything in the world it is Mithya because it doesn't have independent existence, because it is dependent on the observer consciousness, which is I, the Turiya. So the important reason for our conclusion is both Jagrat and Swapna, I am the Drik, I am the observer of both. This observer is Anityam. Therefore, this world is Anityam, but I am Drik, which is Nitya. So Jagrat Prapancha is also Mithya. Swapna Prapancha is also Mithya. So what is the objection of the Purvapakshi? The problem is he tries to analyze Swapna standing on Jagrat. Therefore, he uses double standard of utility. Experienceability is the condition. Utility is not the condition. See how beautiful this entire analysis in the seventh mantra is. One of the most important reason which is required to understand the mithyatvam of the Jagrat Prapancha. So what the correct criterion is Drishyatvam, which means perceptibility of the world in waking and dream. Anityatvam, fleetingness of Jagrat and Swapna. These are the two correct criterion to say Jagrat and Swapna both are Mithya. If you have not understood some portions of this, go through the notes, you will be able to pick up. But if you have understood, very good. I mean, I have made it very simple. The notes are excellent for Mandukya Upanishad Bhashyam. I have got both the Bhashyam in Sanskrit and the translation of the Bhashyam in English, which I don't have, unfortunately, for the Prashna Upanishad. I have only the Sanskrit portion. I don't have the translation for the Prashna Upanishad or Aitareya Upanishad. I don't have this both. I have only the Sanskrit portion. But for Kathopanishad, I have. So Kathopanishad also, when we study again Bhashyam, if time permits, we will do that. Very beautiful. Okay. Introduction to the next verse. In the eighth mantra of this first chapter, what kind of objects are experienced in dream? That is the problem. What type of objects? What Shankaracharya says in this commentary is the objects in the dream world and waking world are similar. The waking world objects are also unreal. The dream world also objects are unreal. Therefore, both are mithya. Whichever objects are experienced in the waking state are not seen in the dream. This is Purva Pakshi. Shankaracharya says that objects are both the thing are very similar. But what is the Purva Pakshi? This is also another Purva Pakshi. Whenever Purva Pakshi comes, it is a little difficult to understand his point. What is he says? He says, in the dream state, I experience something which I have never experienced in the waking state, which many of us have complained also. Then what kind of objects are being experienced in the dream state? That is his question. Reality is relative or absolute. What did we say? Waker, sleeper, dreamer is relative. It is known to all. It is mithya. Upanishad reveals the seventh mantra, the adhishtanam substratum for the three states, which is Turiya. The Purva Pakshi, he says, he admits mithyatvam of the dream state, but he still wants to prove that Jagrat is Satya. It has utility, and now he comes out with the second objection. First objection was it has got utility. The second objection is that the objects are different. I don't see this. I mean, he has got certain things in his mind. He says that the Swapna is a projection of okay. What he says is the objects are different. What Vedanta says Swapna is projection of the individual mind based on the vasanas acquired in the Jagrat. But Purva Bakshi says Swapna is not a projection of mental vasana. That is his objection. Why does he say it is not a projection of mental vasanas? He says things which are experienced in the dream state are apurvam. Apurva means It is unfamiliar in Jagrat, extraordinarily experienced in dream. Dream is real because objects there are real. It is not the same as what you say it is as per the waking state. Therefore, because dream is real, even waking is real. And he says that you're using a wrong example of dream to prove that Jagrat is unreal. You say Jagrat, Mithya, Swapnatva. You are using a wrong example. Wrong example is called as Vishama Dishtanta. Okay. Now, Shankaracharya has to show why Purvapakshi is wrong. What he says is Waker's objects and dream objects are the same. Now, he refers back to the fifth mantra of the second chapter, which we have covered already, where it says dream objects are unreal, Waker object is also unreal. Purvapakshi is saying waking objects is not repeated in dream. Dream objects are Purvam. They are very, very unique. For example, he says that I experience Indra Devata's elephant with 4 tusks and Indra with 8 arms and or Brahmaji with 3 heads and all, which I have never experienced in the waking state. I experience that in the dream state. Why do you say that it is the same? That is his objection. Shankaracharya has to give a reason for this. What he says is as follows. I will just introduce this. If I can't finish it, it's okay. We'll continue it next week. What he says, Shankaracharya says is, Sthula Prapancha, Sukshma Prapancha, Karana Prapancha. There are 3 worlds. Sthula Prapancha is experiencer of the gross objects which are made up of Panchabhutas, which is the external. Sukshma, that is the waking state. Second pada is the dream state. Experience or of subtle matter. This is also matter. Gross is also matter. This is subtle matter. Tattva bodha. Try to remember. Mind is also matter. It is subtle matter. There are certain things which are subtle matter. There are certain things which are gross matter. This the Purvapakshi has missed. So Shankaracharya is reminding him Tattva bodha lessons. Consciousness illumines the external world of gross objects. Consciousness illumines the world of subtle objects, of subtle panchabhutas. Consciousness illumines the unmanifest condition of the prapanchas, which is the sleep state, which we call it as Prakriti or Maya. And in the sleep state, it is the experiencer of the ignorance of Atma. Very important. Mula avidya. Mula avidya is the state in sleep. Prakriti, Maya, Mula Vidya, Avyakta, Avyakrita, all these mean the same. Only it means an unmanifest condition. And that unmanifest condition is what? It is the state in which I don't know I am the Turiya Atma. In the waking state also the same thing is there. Because the waking state is caused by what? Prakriti, Maya, which is Mula Avidya. So if the cause is avidya, effect is avidya, but you have to go beyond cause and effect to the Turiya Avastha to understand what is real. This is Karika number 8, which I will start next week so that you have continuity. I have given you the gist, but we'll start with this next week. And let us see. Today it was a very, very important discussion on the seventh Karika. Very, very important because this is the most important bottleneck for all of us. Why waking state is Mithya. Now, this topic is going to go on for another 10 verses. Till 18th verse, this topic will continue. And the whole chapter is about Mithyatvam of the world. Okay, this is a very beautiful chapter, technical chapter, and the notes are very good. The notes are fantastic because it is capturing the logical reasons very correctly. Because it is Shankaracharya's Bhashya. We don't have this privilege in many other Upanishadic study. Oh, Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Asya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Anybody has any questions on today's session? Yeah, Deepak, are you able to unmute yourself and speak?
How are you, Shekharji?
Ha,
No, I
namaste.
think it's a very, very good session today. Acharya introduced this thing, which is not in the, I think, in the Gaudapada Karika, this double standard which Shankaracharya has introduced in his commentary.
Yes,
And
yes, you're right.
not
Correct.
in the Gaudapada
It
Karika,
is not in the original Karika, correct.
limited to the food part.
Yes,
But
that's correct.
by putting the Turiyam,
Yes,
it has given a new dimension to the whole thing. That
yes,
Turiya is the foundation on which the waking state is. So
correct.
therefore, he's being able to explain the whole thing in a much more this thing. And then comes the food part. That what is there in the dream state is not relevant in the waking state, and what is there in the waking state may not be relevant in the dream state. But the point is that it's the Turiyam that has given rise to the waking state. When I get up from my sleep, or when I get up from the deep sleep which abides in Turiyam, the first thing
Yes,
I do is that I itself comes from Turiyam. So it's a very
correct.
beautiful thing. And you have got actually, those notes are very, well, I have to go through it again and again to
Correct.
sort of,
No, no, you've got the essence of it. I'm telling you, you've got the essence of it. But go through the notes, go through the talks whenever you have time.
yes, yes,
And this is the way to understand the Upanishads. You
yes,
see,
yes.
many people don't know how to understand the Upanishads unless and until they study the Bhashyam. They find it extremely difficult. I have conducted sessions on Upanishads for more than 10, 12 years. But then once you study the Bhashya, it makes a huge difference.
Absolutely, because I think there the whole question of the logic is explained in various facets, and
That's
therefore
correct.
that registers in the mind.
Yeah,
Thank you, Shekhar.
the logic registers in the mind rather than just listening and then it disappears.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
I tend to have a little problem because the Sanskrit words I'm not able to the lot of the Sanskrit words in your notes I have to go through and by understanding them again and again. So that's
Yeah,
where
that's
I get.
correct. Yes, that is one of the problems. Many seekers who attend these sessions, they have also told me exactly what you're telling me.
Yes.
That you see, the Sanskrit words are too much. It's like bombarding of Sanskrit, too much of bombardment of Sanskrit. But the problem is, without the Sanskrit words, I cannot teach. It is the Sanskrit words which are very unique, like unmanifest, vyaktam.
And
You
Yaktam.
know, Turiya, how to
Turiya.
translate,
Yeah.
So that is why
Prapancha.
you need the dialogue, and it's okay. As long as you can pick up even 10%, 20%, you will get the gist of it.
Yes. Yes. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Deepak. Thank you. Anybody else has anything else to say? Prashno would it be possible to send the Prashno Upanishad mantras? I will learn it myself. Uh, yeah, okay. I can send you the mantras. But what exactly do you mean? You mean the Bhashyam or the actual verses? Verses you can get in any book.
Namaste, Shekharji. I think you mentioned that it is in Sanskrit. The
Yeah, correct. The Bhashyam is in Sanskrit, and the
version
Sanskrit
English.
Bhashyam is available in a very beautiful book. It's called it's from the Gita Press.
Okay.
The entire Sanskrit Bhashyam is available in the form of a book. It is a thin book of about 100 pages or so, and you can study. And the beauty of that book is it has got a Hindi translation. If you know
Okay.
Hindi, then it's you can follow it. You can buy the book from Gita Press.
Gita Press. Okay. Yeah. No,
You go
because
online and then try and search for Gita Press publication. I think Shanmugam has sent the link yesterday of the book, the link of just the name of the book, and if you want to know if you want to get a picture of the book and the publications and telephone numbers and things like that, I can send it to you.
yeah, if you could email me, that will be perfect because I'm not on
Yeah,
WhatsApp.
I will
So
email it.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Anybody else has any other things today? Was this seventh mantra very difficult to understand?
Just in my view, I think, Shikhaji, namaste again. I found this mantra extremely useful to get a lot of clarity. And in fact, I was making my own notes. And it's something which is very easy to keep reminding myself that what has got a start, what has got an end cannot be real.
Yes.
And I think
Yeah.
that is something which I'm going to hold on to, which will keep reminding myself. And whatever is perceived, we had
Correct.
learned it is in the
Whatever is
Lakshata
perceived is
that
drishyam, and
is
therefore it is unreal.
Drishyam is unreal. Yeah. So instead of Neti Neti, as I said, Lakshata was more, clicking with me. And I
Yeah.
find this is another phrase, anything which has got a start and an end is Mithya and cannot be real, is something which I sort of was my takeaway from today's
Good.
class,
Very
which
good.
sort
You
of,
got the grasp of it. I'm glad
hold
you
on
got the
to.
grasp of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is what would be my comment for today.
Yeah.
Dhanyavad.
Thank you.
Shekharji,
Yeah,
I
Venkatesh.
have one very general question. I don't know whether that is very relevant with today's class or just overall, from an overall perspective. See, Brahman or Turiyam is the cause for all the three states, right? The Jagrat, Swapna, and Sushupti. So, ultimately, when we say that we have to reach Turiyam state. Again, from the Turiyam state, the Jagrat, Sushupti, Swapna states again can repeat. So, will there be ultimately mukti, or this cycle will continue?
No, you will have mukti. See, the moment you are able to have a clear understanding, then what will you say? You will say that the Jagrat, Swapna, and Sushupti is Mithya. Exactly like the dream is Mithya. That's all. And you will be able to stand on Turiyam and declare for yourself moksha. You will say, I am Mukta Purusha because I am standing as Turiya. That is the ultimate. Again, if you say that, okay, no, Turiyam is there and all the three states are there, then you have not understood. Still, you have to do a little bit of mananam. You have to still go into nididhyasnam. You have to try to hold on to the Turiyam as Satyam and the three states as Mithya. Till this happens in your intellect, you continue the study. After that, you will say, I don't need the study. I have understood. And the beauty of this is each one of you will say, I am free. That's all. You see, you don't have to prove to anybody else. You don't have to even prove to the guru or anybody. Your wife also, you don't need to tell. You will know yourself. I am free from the body identification as myself. Body is there, doesn't matter. There are so many bodies in the universe. For you, people living in Africa, Japan, China, so many people are there. Does it make any difference? There are so many bodies. This body is also one more body like that in the world. And I am free. That is what it means. And you see, your life, it is governed by some law. So your life will go on. The body's life will go on. You will live with your children. You will live with your. What only fact is you will have an internal transformation, which is very, very beautiful, which is very divine. So have you got some clarity on this, Venkatesh?
Yeah, I understand that perspective of it, but from the point of view of Srishti, see, if Mukti equals further, there is no birth or Srishti. So from that point of view, if Brahman is the source of Srishti, the Srishti continues. So even if one has ultimately reached the state of Turiyam, the birth and rebirths will continue, right?
It's for other beings, not for you. You will still say, you will still remain in the world and say, I am always free. I am Sakshi of the universe. Would you like to be a Jiva of the universe or a Sakshi? An illuminator of this universe for this entire set of human beings. In this Srishti, so many beings are there. You are free. And what is your role? I am the Adhishtanam for this entire universe. Whenever it happens, you see, I am timeless, I am birthless, I am deathless. I don't age. You see, in Kathopanishad, this Nachiketa looks at Yama and he says, when I look at you, Yama, you don't age. You are always the same. You don't have death. So I want to know, how can I be like you? I that is my third boon. My third boon is I want to be there, but I don't want to be having samsara. Like you don't have samsara. I want to be like you. So that is what happens, that when you are thinking that you are a jiva, it is a life of soul. The moment you say I am Turiya Atma, it is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. It is pure Sakshi nature. Yeah, Vijaya, Venkatesh, is it clear? Do you have any further questions? I know it is not an easy thing which I'm for you to get convinced, but it is one of the factors.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I'll dwell upon this, and I think
Yeah,
this question
keep
has to
coming
get
to me.
answered
Yeah,
by
correct.
itself. Yeah.
Dwell on this. Let it sink, and then slowly, I think you will get some clarity. Yeah, Vijaya, you have something?
Hari Om, Shekhar-ji.
Yeah, you.
The last discussion is very, very interesting discussion. Which actually it's like an oxymoron. When we don't believe that Jagat is Mithya, we'll get these kind of doubts. From the perspective, I would like to put in my viewpoints. I may not be able to answer Venkatesh as much as you have answered it, but it's something like when you have identified with the Jiva Srishti, you are still, you have your own mind, you have your own birth and death of the thoughts, and that will lead you to desire and then karma and then bondage of that, and then you will suffer or you'll be happy and unhappy and stuff like that. To that extent, we understand that there is janma and mrityu. But when as a jivan mukta, or as a person who has assigned himself the status of Turiyam, for him is like that sun which does not die, which does not arise. It is always there. It is not impacted at all. So when we associate myself not with my Srishti, but I become one with the Ishvara Srishti, then you don't have anything for you to think about that I exist, so there is death and birth for me. Because you are always there. Like like the last week's session, you said that the Brahman, and even Shanta had commented today, right? For a person who was always there, like that is easiness. For the easiness, there is no birth and death. Only for the person who has it's like a thought. The thought will come and then thought will go, and then different thought comes, different thought goes. So your birth and death are nothing but these thoughts coming and going. It's like the ripples or the waves which come and go in the ocean. For the ocean, there is nothing else. There is no birth and death. It's only the ripples which or the waves which come out of the earth and then for the ocean and say, I existed for that momentous moment of time. So that kind of feeling is very difficult because we still believe that I have to be born, I have to still do LKG, UKG, and I have to marry somebody, I have to give children. From that perspective, yes, we will all have the birth and death for the body, but for a Jivan Mukta, once you are associated not with these roles, when you push all these roles aside, then you've become you have given up that Visesha. You're not that special person. Then you have become the Sadharana. Then you will be like that sun or the moon or the ocean, which does not bother about all this. So I think that's what I always thought like that about when I get these kind of doubts. I have understood that I have not really come to the conclusion that Jagat is Mithya. Satyatvam is not established in me, so I get these doubts. Yeah. Thank you, Shekhar-ji.
Thank you, Vijay. It's a very, very good answer you have given to Venkatesh's question. And I'm sure Venkatesh has learned a lot from your answer. It's a right answer. And what you have expressed is absolutely fine. Very good. Very good analysis. Very good self-thought. And beautiful. The way you have expressed it is very, very well done. What time is it in Texas now? I mean, it must be still very early, right?
Yeah, yeah. Saturdays it is 4 o'clock, so I've become a little lazy. I'm not able to overcome tamas. But Sunday I get up at 5 for Mandukya. Yeah, it is pretty early. Yes.
Oh, I see. What time is it when you start the class? Is it 5 o'clock?
5. Yes, 5.
Oh, five to 6. And right now it must be about 9, 8, 6 o'clock, 7
Yeah,
o'clock.
yeah. It's going to be 7. Yeah, 6:45. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised you are able to wake up so early for this session, and really it's amazing.
Yeah, but Saturdays I'm missing some parts which I again hear because that's what I said, right? So I always ask you, please bless me that I don't get the tamas on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Vijay.
Thank
For
you
all
very much.
for all those who don't know Vijay, Vijay is the one who chants all the mantras of my sessions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? If there are no other questions, we'll close today and then we'll resume next week. Mandukya sessions is very, very intense, but it is full of meaning. So take time to absorb the meanings and dwell on these thoughts as and when you can. And you will find tremendous clarity coming to you. That is the beauty of this Bhashyam of Mandukya. Thank you. Namaste. Good night.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank
Hari
you.
Om. Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.